What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts Joey Wright and John Luke Garofalo. And joining us today for his 12th appearance on the Fantasy Football Game Show is our great friend, Moody. What's up, Moody?
You know what? I'm doing great. NFL season's almost here. Fully caffeinated, cranking out content. And, like I tweeted out earlier, and Joey, I appreciate you saying that you understood the reference, but it's like you get the message from one of you guys to appear on the show. I just thought about the Ultimate Warrior, that gif where he's like running to the ring, like full out sprint. So, hey, I'm here, guys. Let's do it. Let's go.
So happy you're here.
This is me waiting for you as you're sprinting towards me, Moody. Arms wide open. You can
behind
jump
Simon
to catch me whenever I inevitably fall because I don't have very good balance.
If he's coming full Ultimate Warrior style, you do not want to catch him because he's coming in like with fury. That's not cool.
We do it for Moody. We do it for Moody, Joey.
That would,
Well, guys, if you are not already following our friend Moody, like he mentioned, he is pumping out content this time of year. Fantasy football season is kicking off. You may recognize him from, I don't know, your TV, but you should recognize him on Twitter as well. He's on Twitter at Eric N. Moody, and he's an analyst and writer, not just for the NFL, but covering the NBA and WNBA too. So if you're not already following Moody, fix that right now. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Craig down here, I mentioned it before, but this is Moody's 12th appearance. You are a member of the illustrious FYF DDAC, which is the Front Yard Fantasy Double-Digit Appearance Club, one of only 13 members in the FYF DDAC, according to our chat historian, Craig. Is that the top line on your CV, Moody?
You know what? I'm gonna have to screenshot that. That's a heck of an acronym there. I can screenshot that. I can add it right now. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody pose so we can add it.
I can make that happen. There we go.
And now you can have an image in there as well. We got Scott Fish stopping by in the chat saying, here on time. Where's the adrenaline rush in that? I apologize, Scott. Great news. You can leave and come back in 10 minutes and have that adrenaline rush right there
whenever you want
for you. We got Andrew stopping by in the chat saying, what's good on a Tuesday?
Hey,
FYF,
Andrew. What up, Andrew?
We got Dustin stopping by with a let's go hashtag team
Joey.
I'm
winning today.
And Scamper stopping by with a hello, handsome foursome, and the rest of the FYFers. Meow. Andrea stopping by saying hello to everyone. And Ladarius hopes all is well with all. Well, we hope all is well with you, Ladarius. Guys, today we brought Moody on for a very special draft that we are going to be doing. It is an NFL Movie Heist Squad draft. If you love heist movies, they're pulling off the big bank robbery, the art robbery, then you're going to love this draft. We are putting together our ultimate squads of 5 NFL players that are going to help us accomplish this feat. At the end of it, those 5 players and you are running in to accomplish this task, to pull this heist off, and we'll have you guys vote on whose team you think is most likely to get it done. Before we get into that, though, I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite heist movie is. Joey, I'm going to throw this to you first. What is your number one favorite heist movie?
I had it behind me. Honestly, I need to throw a shout out to Rafifi. It is a French film that really started the heist movie off, and I can't find it on my shelf. My favorite heist movie is Heat. If you've seen Heat, you know why it is, because it is the best heist movie. It's honestly one of the best action movies ever. Heat's my favorite heist movie.
Jail, do you have a really favorite heist movie? I hope, and you love it so much that took your voice away.
What makes it a heist movie? Is it just the stealing something, or is it the plan? Is it the grand plan?
I think at minimum it requires taking something, but there generally is a focus on a team coming together to get an object. I'll let the movie guy answer that, though.
So is Reservoir Dogs a heist movie?
Absolutely. Right? It could be, because I do agree with you. The plan, I think the plan is more important than the actual stealing of the thing, because some of the best heist movies, it doesn't go off. They fail. And I think that's, so I think the plan
other non-heist movies have people stealing stuff. So I don't think that can be the distinction.
You're right. I was wrong.
I don't know. Inside Man's a pretty good one, though.
Inside Man, Moody. Yeah. Moody, do any heist movies jump out at you?
Yeah, one that jumped out and not being, obvious, like Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12. I'm going to go with Ben Affleck's The Town. I would go as far as to say, And Joey, let me know if I'm on point with this. I would say one of the best like modern heist movies I would say ever made. You look at the screenplay, you look at how it's directed. I'm like, it's like a complete package, and so I'm like, it's like a thrill ride, like from start to finish, in my opinion. But I may be biased because I'm just a big fan of Ben Affleck. But I would go with
no. I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's the best movie he's ever directed. He won the Academy Award for Argo. No, Argo is one best picture, I should say. The Town's the best movie Ben Affleck's ever made. I agree with you, Moody.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with the animated
in Fenway Park. So way to use your leverage.
Oh yeah.
I think my favorite heist movie is the animated movie, The Nut Job. Above all other heist movies. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Truly a work of art.
I would have sworn you would have said, "Now you see me too."
Oh, and if I could fire you, I would for saying that, JL, but I don't have that power without your vote in there as well. So I got to catch you on a day where you're feeling down on yourself to get that job going.
Yeah, we should fire me.
Well, we got Jay in the chat saying Heat, and Scott also agreeing Heat #1, but saying Den of Thieves is great, by the way. Dustin throwing out the Thomas Crown Affair.
That's a good one.
And Ladarius said Inside Man was pretty good. And Tim coming in with the hot take that Avengers Endgame had a whole heist inside of it, but give me Nick Cage and National Treasure.
Okay.
Baby. I'm not going to hate on a Nick Cage
National
pick.
Treasure. That's a good pick. I didn't even consider.
That's a great pick. Well, guys, now that we got the heist movie juices flowing, start thinking of which NFL players are going to help make up that perfect squad in your heist movie. Before we get into that, a couple reminders, though. First and foremost, if you're not already following our guest Moody, you need to remedy that immediately. He's on Twitter at Eric N. Moody. Not only will you see more of his handsome face, but you'll see some of his sick fantasy takes out there as well. Moody, I was scrolling your page today, and you had a nice take there on David Njoku that I was enjoying. Do you want to tell people what you like about David Njoku this year? Because I've been getting some hate for being in on him as maybe the 2 option there in Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I can do that. Yeah, it'll be a lot of videos kind of posted today, and then I've got some others like in the works. But I just look at it this way. I'm like, you've got David Njoku. I'm like, he's very young. He's only, I think this is his age 27 season. I'm like, he's had success. It's been like a pendulum back and forth throughout his career. But you look at the Browns team. I'm like, the bottom line is that Deshaun Watson will be much more productive this year. He's had a full unrestricted offseason working with the team, the personnel, coaching staff, you name it. And so you could see the rapport with Njoku and Watson last year. I just think that's going to go to another level this year. So, everyone's obsessed with Travis Kelce. Some are like, Mark Andrews is the guy, TJ Hawkinson. I get it. But if you don't want to spend an early pick on a tight end, I would just wait. There's guys like David Njoku, Pat Freiermuth, players that are great options who could exceed expectations this year.
Absolutely. I'm with you on some of the later round tight end options. Moody's got that take along with others all over his wall right now. You're not going to want to miss those. So follow him at Eric N. Moody. After you do that, head on back over here where you're watching this video at Front Yard Fantasy or on the Better Sports Network YouTube, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing. And if you hit that notification bell, you'll make sure you never miss any of our live shows every day here at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
For the rest of your life.
Every day we'll be here, whether you like it or not. One last reminder, if you go to fantasyalarm.com right now, you can start your 7-day free trial of their All-Pro subscription. It comes with their cheat sheets and all that juicy analysis for free in there. So to fantasyalarm.com/draft and start your 7-day free trial right now. Man, the movie suggestions are flowing in.
I know. My mind's exploding.
Andrew Cooper with the sleeper heist movie, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Andrew says Inception was a heist movie, stealing secrets from people's minds.
Yo, if Inception's a heist movie, then Inception's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah. I just quick side note. I'm like, with having like 2 young kids, like I love the kids movies that are being mentioned here because the Nut Job, that's a favorite in the house, and the Fantastic Mr. Fox too. I forgot about that one, and the the animated one that they made like with Clooney, pretty good voice cast, Willem Dafoe. I'm like that's a good movie. It's timeless. It's got that feel, for it. Heck, I may watch it tonight with them. There we go.
Should.
There we go. One time my girlfriend and I were going to a drive-in theater with her 2 siblings who were in town. Something we thought was fun, and we saw they were playing a movie called Spies in Disguise. Did not look it up, just assumed it was a spy movie. It's about a spy who gets turned into a pigeon and has to work with other pigeons
Yes.
to uncover some sort of secret plot. And it was just
A pigeon plot?
a pigeon plot. It
Or
was
is it a
so
human
shocking. I think it's a human plot, but they're pigeons. They have a pigeon plot to stop the human plot, if I remember
Big difference.
correctly. But the shocking realization about 15 minutes into the movie that wasn't the trailer, and we were in fact watching an animated movie about pigeons when we thought it was like a full-on spy movie, was really
That
shocking.
was like a Pixar
That was
short.
jarring.
You know, it's interesting. No one threw James Bond out at all, which
Is that a heist?
I'm not going to complain about it. He's a spy. Okay.
It's like a Patriot movie.
I guess
All
he
right.
stops the heists.
Yeah.
Well, guys, before the show, I randomly determined the order of this draft. Joey is going first. Moody has the second pick. I'm at 3. Jail's at 4. This will be a
What the
snake through 5 rounds where we are building out that perfect heist squad for your show. Joey, you're on the clock with the first overall pick. Who are you taking, and why are you adding them to your heist squad?
So I think the part of any good heist team, one of the most important parts, of course, there's a leader, there's the right-hand man, whatever you want to have, but you have to have the perfect getaway driver. And listen, I could get someone that's good at driving a car. A lot of guys are good at driving cars. But I need someone that's, I knew it, Simon, when I told you this earlier. I need someone that can get me on ground and the air. I'm taking Brandon Cooks because he can fly me a plane if I need to get out of there fast. Let's go.
Yeah, Joey, I honestly think that's the 101 because I don't know if there's a single other player in the NFL that can where did that go? Sorry about that. 1 second, guys.
No worries.
Oh, yeah. No worries.
I don't think there's a single other player in the NFL that can get you away through the air like Brandon Cooks can.
Yep.
Although, one thing you didn't consider here is is jet the best vehicle for getting away in this scenario? Because I've seen plenty of movies where there's a whole epic showdown on the runway, which seems to be 50,000 miles long, and it doesn't seem like the best, most plausible way to get away.
I trust that Brandon Cooks is going to get me off that runway. But if I don't need him to get me off the runway, if he just needs to drive a car, he can do that too. I checked. He does have a CDC license. So.
You checked?
Mm-hmm. So Brandon Cooks can not only fly a plane, but if it comes down to it, he can drive the car as well. Joey, before we move on from your pick, I know we talked a little bit about Brandon Cooks yesterday, but I did want to get your opinion on Brandon Cooks as a fantasy option this year.
Yeah, so yesterday I said I'd be happy with him as a wide receiver 2, and I kind of made a little slip there. I meant a wide receiver 3. He's in that 26 to like around 35 range for me. Happy to have him on my team as a wide receiver 3. I think he could do some really good things in Dallas. He's not going to be needed to be leaned on as a wide receiver 1. I think takes a little pressure off of him to still produce good numbers. So I like him quite a bit this year. Happy to have him on my team.
Moody, are you comfortable drafting Brandon Cooks in those later rounds as a expected contributor for your fantasy teams?
No, absolutely. I'm like, they wouldn't have brought him in if they were happy with what Michael Gallup was doing in Dallas with the Cowboys. And so, Joey, brought up some really good points, but I'm comfortable with Cooks as a flex option. So here's an interesting stat. Since 2014, you look at Brandon Cooks, he's only one of 7 players in the league with over 8,500 receiving yards and 45 receiving touchdowns. So apparently he's got pretty good rapport with Dak Prescott so far. So, hey, I'm buying.
I'm with you. And at his cost, you don't have to risk too much to get Brandon Cooks on your team. The chat is letting us know about other players that have their pilot's license. And I have not fact-checked any of these, but Andrew says Jimmy Graham also has his pilot's license. And Craig says Ryan Tannehill has his pilot's license as well. So if anyone else
looks like a pilot, he's got the jawline of a pilot for sure.
He does. He looks like someone I'd be a little nervous that they were drunk after I watched them walk out of the cockpit and fly in my plane for 8 hours. Moody, that puts you on the clock for your pick. Who is the first member of your ultimate NFL player movie heist squad?
All right, so I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with someone that has brains. I'm thinking if it's like Ocean's 11, Danny Ocean, we got to have a really, really good plan, then execute from there. So I'm actually going with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I know he just retired, June of 2022. Like the guy was a starting quarterback for a whopping 9 teams, like the most in NFL history. And you look at Fitzmagic, and he graduated from Harvard, had a degree in economics, I believe. And I'm like during his college career, he was named like Ivy League Player of the Year. Won a lot of awards. And so I am going with Fitzpatrick here. And I think on the Wonderlic, he got like a 48, I believe, right? Like a 47 or 48, something crazy
some
like
absurd,
that.
Some absurd score.
Yeah.
I love that pick because not only are you getting the brains, but he throws on those shades and you've got like the ultimate like mascot for your squad as well. Know what I mean? Like him standing in front of the squad with his aviators on, it's going to look good on the movie poster.
There you go.
He's definitely going to rally the rest of the squad.
Do you think there's let's take the Harvard aspect out of it, but Ryan Fitzpatrick was well known for bouncing around the league, being the ultimate fill-in guy. Do you see any quarterbacks in the like modern NFL kind of fulfilling that role or filling that role? Maybe a Gardner Minshew or one of these backups who's good enough to start, but maybe not good enough for a team to put their future on?
Yeah, there's a couple of names that were coming to mind. Like one was, we'll see what 2023 has in store for Jared Goff. Big season for him. Like if he could replicate what he did last year and show that consistency, he could be Detroit's like long-term solution at quarterback. But if he doesn't, he could be that guy that kind of bounces around the league and, has had success and could find himself on many teams. So that was one name that came to mind. I was also kind of thinking about Marcus Mariota too, what happened with Atlanta last year and just, hey, he's very capable, but he's also mobile. So those are two names that come to mind.
Yeah. Those, Jared Goff, that would be, I don't want to say sad, but after what we saw last year, I'm really hopeful that he lands a more secure long-term gig with the Lions, maybe while they're waiting on Hendon Hooker for a couple of years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that puts me on the clock for my first pick. And Moody, I'm like you. I think I'm looking for my squad leader here. I would have taken Brandon Cooks as my getaway driver. He's got the endorsement of multiple NFL players as being able to fly them. We've seen it recently, but that's okay. I don't need a good getaway driver because the plan is going to be so immaculate from my leader, Jalen Hurts. That man will be calm under pressure the entire time. Nothing is going to rattle him. And the command that he has over his offense, I can only imagine will extend to the command he has over the rest of this team with him. So I'm adding Jalen Hurts to this mix. He's got the brains, he's got the leadership qualities, and he's got the coolness under pressure, I think, that's going to be required to lead a heist operation successfully.
Until Tua gets there.
And then Tua's tearing them apart.
Taking a spot. Jalen Hurts is out.
Jalen Hurts is out. Tua's in.
Halfway through the heist. All right, am I on the clock?
Yeah, you're on the clock, JL. Who are you taking with your first pick?
Yeehaw. Both of my guys. This is a snake draft, right?
This is a snake draft, yeah.
Ooh, so I got two picks. Both of my guys fell to me. First guy I'm taking, he is impossible to catch in any situation. I'm going Lamar Jackson. He's going to be our I don't know what the name for this role is, but it's the guy who's going to go. He's the one in the vault grabbing the stuff. And then he's running out, dodging people. So that's
sliding under lasers,
breaking some ankles, not getting hit by those little ink pod things that shoot out at you when you rob a bank, apparently. None of that. It all misses him. And he's going to run out of that bank and run straight into the minivan of his getaway driver, Tyreek MF Hill. Mr. Fast, Mr. Speed. What better getaway driver in his nice family minivan?
You have to imagine that his speed translates directly to the vehicle. And then you've got the added bonus. If the vehicle breaks down, Tyreek Hill, at least one person's getting away.
Yeah.
Maybe no one's catching them.
In JL's heist movie, is Tyreek Hill like Fred Flintstone, where he just uses his feet under the car to run? Is that how it works?
That's how it works.
JL,
that's good.
What are you expecting from Tyreek Hill this year? Are you expecting a replication of the insane yardage numbers that he got last year in that Dolphins offense?
It's hard to tell with a player like Tyreek because he has these big play. He survives on these big plays, and he gets enough volume of those opportunities that he's able to turn it into fantasy, the consistent fantasy production. So on a week to week basis, it's a little more iffy, but I expect mostly the same as last year for Tyreek Hill. Most of the variables there in his situation are the same. He's a year older, but he is just one of those talents that I think can make it happen on the field, regardless of what offense he's in. So yeah, I expect more of the same.
Moody, are you projecting similarly for this Dolphins wide receiver core, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, no, I'm very optimistic about Hill and Waddle. Just looking at it from a I guess from a fantasy perspective, and also like with ADP, I know Hill's ADP is obviously in the first round or top of the second, depending on how people are drafting. But I actually prefer like Waddle this year. I'm like, Hill's going to lead that group in targets, or excuse me, that duo in targets. But I'm like, you're looking at Waddle, he could still have like 130 targets in that offense. And he was more efficient than Hill last year. I think he ranked first in yards per target and fourth like in yards per route run. So I like them both, but I prefer Waddle.
Joey, what about you? Whenever you're looking at Tyreek Hill this year, it was, what did he have, over 1,700 yards last season or something insane like that?
Yeah.
Do you think he matches those numbers?
I think we see more of a shift, and I'm not going to say Waddle's going to take over as the wide receiver one there in Miami, but I think Hill still out receives him. But I think for Dynasty, I would rather have Waddle, which is a super safe answer to say, but I think Tyreek Hill is still the top dog on that offense for wide receivers this season. I have him ranked as my wide receiver 4.
We got some suggestions coming in the chat. Scott Fish says, Deuce Vaughn, you need a guy who can fit in small spaces.
Mm-hmm. Good point. It's a good point.
Getting some good ideas out there for us. And Jake says, what about Jean-Claude Van Jefferson? It's possible. I don't understand how to do this. Or you understand better than all of us how to do this.
Exactly how to do this.
I'm back on the clock. I appreciate the suggestions in the chat, but I'm going a different direction. We're going with some synergy here. Every leader needs a right-hand man that they can trust inherently. And not only does Jalen Hurts have one of those, he has one of those that I have watched Jalen Hurts personally send to go rob the Salvation Army. I'm taking Devonta Smith here. After he caught that end zone, I know that dude knows how to bust down a door, and he's got no qualms about stealing out of that red pot. And him and Jalen Hurts have the chemistry and the relationship that they won't even need to communicate during this heist. They're going to execute that plan perfectly. Welcome to the squad, Devonta Smith. Now, Moody, I did want to ask you after this draft pick, are you buying into the hype that Devonta Smith could take over as the top receiving option there in Philadelphia, or is it still A.J. Brown's job to lose?
Yeah, that's tough. If I'm looking at it from fantasy, I'm like, Smith is obviously the more favorable option when you look at his ADP. But I could see it happening. It was really like an up and down season for A.J. Brown. Like when you have him on your fantasy team, he had some big weeks. Then he had some weeks where he wasn't doing much. And then just the presence of A.J. Brown. And if you're Devonta Smith, like you're going to get favorable coverage, just being the kind of quote unquote number 2, but it's really more of a 1A, 1B situation. So I could see it happening. I think if you look at projections and things like that, thinking about Mike Clay's projections and then just others in the industry, in many cases, Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown have a similar target projection. So I can see it.
Yeah, I think you're right, though, whenever you say this is like a 1A, 1B situation. You're just happy having either of those guys from this Eagles offense on your fantasy team. Also, Scampers down here saying I'm running back my hot take. Hill and Waddle both finished top 12 this year. Run it back, baby. It's time for that sequel. And Scott said, did he just say Devonta Smith would help bust down a door? I'm not even sure his body weight could push through a turnstile. Go watch his touchdown celebration again, because that form is immaculate. Moody, this is going to put you back on the clock for your second pick of this draft. Who are you taking to pair with Ryan Fitzpatrick?
All right, I was thinking of two people here. I'm thinking if I should go with this one for this round or the next. All right, I've got one player I'm going to go with here, and then I've got someone in round 3 that I don't think anyone would pick who may be off the radar. So round 2, I'm going with DK Metcalf here.
Good pick.
I need someone who has some muscle, who's strong. I guess someone who can eat Skittles and junk food and not increase their body fat percentage. So
and who's going to stand out in any crowd of people.
I need someone that's nimble, that's quick. That's athletic, in case we need to run away from some people. And so I'm going with DK Metcalf here. And I've got a real surprise for round 3, but I'm going to hold that close to the vest for right now. So,
and hope Joey doesn't steal it. DK Metcalf was on my list. Not only does he have the muscle, but he's got that agility too. You mentioned that, Moody. Are you does the injury to Jackson Smith and Jigba affect your outlook for DK Metcalf at all going into this year?
No, it doesn't. Like when I look at like Metcalf, I'm like, he's still the alpha, the number 1, for the Seahawks. should get a ton of targets. Had really good rapport with Geno Smith last year. But I think one thing that could benefit Metcalf this year, upcoming season, would be like in the area of touchdowns. I mean, he had a career low, like 6 touchdowns last year. I would expect some positive regression like in that area. So he's someone I'm very comfortable with as my wide receiver too. So
yeah, and you can grab him in that range. I see him going in the beginning of the 3rd round pretty regularly. So you don't have to reach too far to get someone with his talent. Joey, you're on the clock. Moody's got his fingers crossed, but seems optimistic that you're not going to take his guy. You've got 2 picks here. Where are you going?
All right. So I'm going to take my lead guy now. I'm going to take my guy that's going to organize all this. But, every time you watch a heist movie, the lead guy, he's got a little flash. He's pretty handsome. Probably got some aviator sunglasses, beautiful blue eyes possibly. So I'm going to take Joe Burrow. He's going to lead my heist team.
Smell him coming a mile away. Smells like Cubans.
He's always ripping cigars the entire movie.
Trying to get through the tunnel that you dug underneath the bank is just filled with cigar smoke.
You guys you need cover, and Joe's like 1 second.
Close it in your face.
For that, it was either him or Josh Gordon. Either of those two could fill a room up with smoke.
Josh Gordon might be more efficient, though.
Well, he might be my muscle, actually. No,
you added Joe Burrow to the squad. Who are you adding to pair with him?
So another part of that I love about heist movies is that guy on the team that you just fall in love with, that you absolutely love. He's the heart and soul of the team, and then he dies.
No!
Everybody feels that. I know. So my expendable guy is going to be probably the nicest man to ever play in the National Football League. Taking Larry Fitzgerald as my expendable guy.
No,
everyone's going to cry when Larry goes down, but everyone's going to love him while he's there. So I'll take Larry Fitzgerald as my expendable guy.
You just made the saddest scene in a movie, Joey, that anybody could ever watch.
Over and over and over and over again.
I would turn your movie off immediately, so quickly. I'd be like, nope, this is dumb.
If you can't kill a dog in our heist movie, the closest thing you can get to someone that's just beloved, I feel, is Larry Fitzgerald. And I don't want him to die.
Wow.
I don't. I love him. Oh, I'm
You've seen too many heist movies if you're killing off your characters in a hypothetical movie heist right now. I like Joey's letting us know who's going to die from his team. No, he's the favorite. Everyone loves him. He's going to be crucial to this mission.
It's what rallies the team to pull off the heist. Is that we got to do it for Larry.
We gotta do it for Larry, man. We gotta do it for Larry. Scammers in here said, "How effing dare you, Joey?
How dare you? How dare you?
You don't have to kill Larry to use Larry to rally people. He just does that."
But Darius said, "I'm walking out of Joey."
No, you won't. Yeah. You will be so bought into my movie. You will want that team to succeed for Larry. They'll all have shirts that say for Larry.
It's a shot from in front of the airplane, and you can just see them through the front with tears streaming down their eyes. There's a banner flying behind the plane that says "Do it for Larry."
It's just pretty much a carbon copy to the Fast and Furious movie after Paul Walker died.
The exact same thing, but it's Larry.
That Wiz Khalifa song.
Much better. We'd find a much better song.
The Charlie Booth Wiz Khalifa song.
Well, Moody, this is going to put you back on the clock for your 3rd pick. I'm guessing Joey didn't take your guy because you didn't seem too upset there.
No, he didn't take my guy. So I'm excited about this pick. So round 3, we are going with Deion Sanders.
Whoa, Deion Sanders.
Here's why. I'm like, you always have to have that person that brings charisma, who's a smooth talker, has that larger than life personality. And even at his age, he still has those things. We all know all the quotes that Deion has. I'll put my Deion Sanders impersonation here. Deion will be like, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. Yes. You gotta have Deion on the team.
Flip it.
Have to have Deion here.
Moody, what a pick and what an impression.
Every time.
I'm so bought.
You get me every time.
I'm ready to run into that bank for Deion Sanders. You're right. There's nobody that he's not getting hyped to get in there, and he'll smooth talk his way past anybody.
Larry just joined Moody's movie.
Larry's not dead. Larry fakes his death to join Moody's squad. Deion Sanders, man, that's an incredible pick. Moody, what do you think? You've been following college football at all? Do you think they're going to find success this year with Deion's new program there in Colorado?
Yeah, so kind of I keep my eyes on the college football world, and so I I believe he will find success, and I think here's why. It's in college, the coaching staff, especially the head coach, plays such a huge role when it comes to recruiting. I'm like, Deion's the type of coach that I think college players want to play for. So that can give him a thumbs up for where he can end up getting top recruits. And I would say the other factor, and again, it's things you can't really quantify, is that I'm like, wherever Deion has gone, I'm assuming all of his life, I'm like, the guy's been a winner. We saw what he did in the NFL. We saw what he's done so far as a college coach, and I would assume that success would end up translating, to Colorado. So it'll be interesting to watch, but I think he'll make it happen.
I'm with you, Moody, and I think it's exciting if he does well, because then it's gonna open the door for copycat programs who see the success of bringing in this big name, charismatic former athlete, and try to replicate that success. It could be fun in the college football landscape to see how that shakes up coaching hires in the future. Also, Tim in here saying, but Larry is the villain for the sequel. Didn't actually die and is mad they left him behind.
I'm just going to say my pick launched a whole franchise. So you guys can pick whoever you want, but I have a franchise now.
Leaves voicemails for his late mom still. He's just like, yeah, they left me. They left me, Mom.
Well, Darius, and you're saying, hold up. I thought Moody was on the show, not Deion Sanders. Every time it gets me.
All right. So here's what we should do. We should have some fun with this. Should just record a fantasy video just in the Deion Sanders voice.
You should.
And see if that would 100 and put images and stuff in the background. You could 100% play off as Deion Sanders.
There we go.
Get Jake Trowbridge in the chat to do impersonation of someone else in the NFL and just have a conversation.
There we go. We should do that. You got to make a
Who
note
needs
of that.
AI deepfakes when we have Moody and Jake Trowbridge?
Yes.
All right. Well, guys, this is going to put me on the clock for my next pick.
Don't take my guys.
I'm really struggling here because there's a lot of guys that I want to take, but they're all kind of tiered similarly. And there's a couple different roles on my team that I think need to be filled still. I think what I'm going to go with here is every good heist needs someone who can pull off a great distraction, right? Someone that is going to distract all of the people in the room to make sure that the heist can go off without a hitch. And I think the ultimate NFL distraction is whenever Taysom Hill gets put on the football field. You don't know what the hell he's going to do. Is he throwing the ball? Is he running the ball? Is he catching the ball? And then also he's just this gigantic human who's going to be running around the bank looking for Daddy Sean Payton the entire time. And no one's going to be caring about the heist going on in the background when this 6'11" man is crying because he can't find Sean Payton.
36-year-old 6'11" man.
Sorry, 36-year-old 6'11" man. So Taysom Hill, welcome to the squad in the illustrious distractor position.
That was a nice pick, Simon.
Thanks. I appreciate it, JL. Now it's your turn for 2 picks.
Taysom Hill. Is Taysom Hill really 6'11"?
Give or take a foot.
Sounds about right. All right, my next pick. This guy, the minute I thought of him, I was like, oh, he was made for a heist movie. Going with George Kittle.
Oh, I like that.
George Kittle.
That's a good pick.
Got the ponytail. He's got the aviators. He's wearing a suit jacket and a paisley undershirt. Man. Rose-colored glasses. Yeah, he is made for heist movies. I'm actually shocked that he's not in every single heist movie.
Not only a great pick, but great value, JL. Get him in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love it.
I'm shocked that only 2 tight ends have been drafted now, because now that I'm looking at it, tight end screams heist movie participant for some reason.
It really does. Why does it? Jordan Reed, killer in heist
that
movie.
dude, as long as his foot was working.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the one caveat.
Talk about expendable.
All right, my next pick here.
It's also Scamper said, if you kill George Kittle.
Better or worse than Larry?
Geek stopping by. What's up, Geek? Welcome in, my friend. Glad to have you here, Jeff.
All right, my next pick. I'm going with the guy that's going to bring that comedic levity to the movie. He's going to, like those 2 cars in Transformers. Either Shia LaBeouf Transformers, of course. There's 2 funny cars. We need that element to this team. You know, Lamar, Tyreek Hill, George Kittle. George Kittle's kind of silly, but the Lamar and Tyreek, not as Tyreek's kind of okay. This is a full silly squad. I'm totally lying. My team is full silly squad.
You've got that comedy heist movie.
Are you about to draft Larry the Cable Guy for a funny car?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But close. I'm gonna draft Jamal Williams, who's gonna be
beautiful.
yeah, he is. He's gonna
Oh.
sweet talk. He's gonna be that sweet talker, that grifter role that Moody was talking about, and he can serve as a distraction if he wants. If we need him to in that moment, he can just create a distraction on the fly. You never know what. I mean, anytime that he just starts doing his hip thrusting and everybody's looking. So
every great one-liner from JL's movie is going to Jamal Williams. Like, he's going to deliver it with so much passion too. I love it. JL, your team is really great. Wow.
Thank you.
You're putting together a very quotable movie. It feels like just
Kevin
over
Hart,
and
it's the
over
last
again.
pick.
Yeah, he played in the NFL at some point. I'm pretty sure.
He's the driver, but they got to put bricks down by his feet so he can reach the pedals.
Are they getting his car? He's got his car custom. They're just gonna have George Kittle's gonna have to squeeze a little bit to fit inside Kevin Hart's vehicle. All right. Well, that puts me back on the clock. Before I make that pick, though, I didn't want to skip over Jamal Williams entirely. We know we love him as a human. He may be the most beloved NFL player. But Moody, what do you think about Jamal Williams in New Orleans this year, especially with Alvin Kamara's suspension only being 3 games?
Yeah, it's just such a crowded backfield. Like when you got Miller there. I'm like, you've got Kamara that he'll be out. But they did end up signing Williams like this offseason. He's not someone like I'm aggressively targeting, but if I'm someone who, let's say, was implementing like a 0 RB strategy and needed a starter like early in the season, I could see myself plugging Williams in there. But he's just not a player that I'm aggressively targeting in drafts, just given the circumstances in New Orleans and the number of bodies in the backfield. So
I wish I could be more excited because of how much I like the player, but I tend to be with you. John Luke, are you in agreement with Moody on how you're viewing Williams' potential output this year?
Yeah, I think he could be one of those players who you take a shot on late in your draft, just see if he gets enough of that workload in the beginning to become fantasy valuable. Even if he's not the main guy there, he might get enough work to increase his value enough that you can trade him. So I agree with Moody. I think he's not someone I'm necessarily targeting, but he is. If he's there late in the draft at a certain point, I'm absolutely happy taking him.
Do you think we might see his draft stock fall down because of what we saw to Kendra Miller the other night? Like, he looked really good. So you think that might make Williams even better value coming up?
If Kendra Miller is good, do I think that will make Jamal Williams a better value?
I'm just saying, Kendra Miller's performance the other night, it got a lot of buzz. So I'm wondering if that's going to make Williams fall a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make him a better value.
As we head to the season, if there's not significant Jamal Williams hype, play the hype, right? Play the hype, because what we're talking about here is Jamal Williams doesn't really have much cost at this point. So it's not much risk you're taking on. Oh,
Simon, you're muted.
We see it every year. These hype trains get going because of preseason performances. And I think a lot of times, myself included, I forget that NFL teams are often looking for something different than what fantasy managers are in these preseason games. So the snaps that they're giving to players, the stuff that they see on the field. So take it, learn from it, but take it with a grain of salt as well, that this isn't full, actual earned playing time for these players on the field.
Yeah.
Also, Tim stopped by saying Kirk Cousins is the inside man. He's without a doubt already a bank teller in his spare time. He felt included one time with all those chains, and now he'll destroy his own side hustle.
So true.
Kirk Cousins already on the inside. This is going to – what's up, Geek? Welcome in.
What up, Jeff?
It is my turn on the clock, and I'm sorry to do this to this next guy, but every good heist needs a fall, man. My guy's not dying, but he is the one. He's taking the fall for everybody. He's going to be the one that they push to the side. And I don't think they have told him that he's going to be the fall guy yet. And that is Buccaneers starting quarterback Baker Mayfield is the fall guy for my team. He was the fall guy for the Browns. He was the fall guy for the Panthers. And he's about to be the fall guy for the Buccaneers as well, as they are hurtling towards the number 1 overall pick, whether Baker Mayfield starts on that team or not. So unfortunately, Baker's going to give it his all, like he does in every position where he's been. You're not going to have a fall guy that is like dragging the team down. But when it's time to cut him, they're going to have no qualms about cutting him because it's been done to him before. Sorry, Baker. Hate to do that to you. Moody, he's officially been named the starter. Do you have any optimism for Baker Mayfield going into this year in that Bucs offense?
I do have optimism. I talked about the, about Mike Evans, the Buccaneers, on the fantasy football marathon last week. And I just think people are overreacting. I'm like, whether it was Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield, looks like we're going to have Baker, is that I'm like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I'm like, that duo's played in 84 career games together. Now, whoever was in at quarterback for Tampa Bay over those games, Tom Brady, of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the backups, Jameis Winston, everybody. The Buccaneers quarterback combined averaged 20.3 fantasy points per game. And so Baker can be successful like with the Buccaneers this year. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback, but if you're in a Superflex league, you need a QB3. I think he can give you some decent production just given the playmakers he's surrounded with.
I tend to agree with you that he can find success. The one thing I worry about, it was Dustin posted this on Twitter earlier today, yeah. Dustin in the chat. If the Buccaneers are losing and losing consistently, we may hear calls for Kyle Trask sooner rather than later, maybe to no fault of Baker's own. Joey, you're the Buccaneers fan. How do you see this playing out?
Listen, Kyle Trask looked really good against the third stringers the other night. So I don't know. They might not want to make a call to Kyle Trask. No, I don't think that either Trask or Baker Mayfield is the long-term solution for Tampa Bay. Like Eric said, if you need a QB3, go ahead and draft Baker. I don't think Trask is a terrible pick either if you need a QB3. And if you have like two really solid QB1 and QB2, you can grab Trask too, because I think Trask will play this year. It's tricky. It's like I've said it before on the show, like as a Bucs fan, like I don't know if I want them to win or lose.
Because Caleb Williams is sitting out there. Ladarius in the chat's a great pick by Simon here. Appreciate it, Ladarius. We got Bandit stopping by saying, TBH, I should be a part of any heist. Well, let us know what NFL team you played for, and we will make sure you're eligible on this board, Bandit.
Well, he's a bandit, so he would be a good at heists.
right? We can only draft eligible players here.
We don't know that's not like Tom Brady. Well, he doesn't play in the league anymore. So
you're right. That's why all I'm asking for is a little proof here. Okay, guys? Yeah. They're more than willing to be included here. And then Geek coming in saying, nice to have a wild card, explosive specialist in the squad that always wakes up feeling dangerous.
Love it.
Moody, this puts you back on the clock for your fourth pick. That's going to join Ryan Fitzpatrick, DK Metcalf, and Deion Sanders in your heist movie squad. Who's it going to be?
All right, so I just need someone strictly for muscle to move things around, to wreck someone, if we get in a, fight, how these movies go. So I'm going with Aaron Donald.
Oh, you sniped me.
He's 6'1", weighs 280 pounds. I would say he's the strongest NFL player, like in the league right now. I think back to like the 2014 Combine where I'm like, he had the second biggest like bench press, I think, in history. He had like 35 like reps. And that is just like insane. And so whenever like I played football, I'm like in high school and college, I was probably around most of my playing weight was probably between like 310 and 330. And I'm about 6'4". And like I thought putting up like 24 or 25 reps of 225 like was good. But watching this guy at 280 do like 35, mind was blown. I'm like, this guy's a hoss. So I'm going with Aaron Donald here.
As far as I'm concerned, he's not only the strongest man in the NFL, he's the strongest man in the world for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I believe it.
Good God, that's a strong man. And that's definitely going to add, you don't have to worry about moving anything heavy on your team.
No.
The door's a little big. The money's too heavy. Aaron Donald's got it all. No problem. Joey, that's going to put you back on the clock. 2 picks here.
I almost had a perfect draft. I almost got every single guy I had on my board, but Eric sniped me on Aaron Donald there. I even sent a picture to Scott Fish to show him because Scott put it in the chat. Like, this is what I have in my muscle. But I'm going to have to go with my backup muscle guy. And maybe he's got a chip on his shoulder now because I took him second and not first overall. That's going to be Micah Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys. For some reason, I am more scared of Micah Parsons than any other player in the NFL. I don't know why. I would not want to be on the other side of the football of him. He is terrifying. So Micah Parsons is going to be on my muscle. Very intimidating look.
Who's the next pick going to be, Joey?
So my next pick, Joe Burrow in the van. He's got the whole team together, but he's missing his right-hand man. He pulls up in a metro, Minneapolis, pulls up to the home of Justin Jefferson, and everybody in a heist movie, they love it. One last time. Let's get it together for the team. We're getting it back together. He goes to get his old college teammate, Justin Jefferson, as his right-hand man. So we've got, I'm excited for my movie. Now.
Joey, when you said one last time, I got a little goosey.
Good.
Over
That
here.
was the point.
Why didn't you take Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
That was my backup if Jefferson was taken.
Feels like you have to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire if you have that storyline.
Clyde was busy.
Yeah.
Clyde was busy. He got the wrong address for the heist. He showed up somewhere else on accident.
Like, not again.
He typed in Kansas City instead of Minnesota on the GPS, and turns out there was a street with that name in both places. There's Banks of America everywhere, apparently.
Tim.
Tim in here said Kenny Pickett for locks. Come on. He can pick them with his tiny little fingers. He can just get right in there and pick the locks.
Can we run this back Friday? I just want to hear what Tim's team would be because it'd be money.
Yeah, Tim's going to come back in just with his team ready for Friday.
They're all Dolphins.
Moody, you are on the clock. What are you going with here? You taking Kenny Pickett, or you got a different player in mind?
No, I've got a different player in mind. So I'll say for my squad, you have to have that, that everyman, the chameleon, someone who can pretty much, go anywhere. That's not going to raise suspicion. And, I'm going with Tom Brady here. So I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
I thought about that pick. It's a good pick.
Yeah, I was just thinking, he could be the fall guy as well. It's not like he hasn't been down in his career, losing to the Giants twice. He bounced back. Things didn't work out with Bridget Moynihan. He bounced back with Giselle. So I'm like, he can bounce back just fine. He's also a pilot too. He's a pilot. So,
we got more pilots in the NFL than I even knew.
In round 5, Joey didn't even need to waste his first pick. Could have just went Tom Brady in the 5th.
I took a topical pick.
Yeah. So
what I like about Tom
Brady
Brady
the conversation
with the bounce back is not only did he bounce back in the ways you've said, he's been the fall guy for multiple cheating scandals as well, right? Deflategate was all on Tom Brady, and he bounced back and won another Super Bowl.
So he knows how to break the rules.
Also, Tim in here said Tom Brady goes anywhere and is the most famous person in the room immediately. He can be your distraction as well. Tom Brady do a bank.
Yeah, he's versatile. He can be a distraction, and if we need to change the appearance, he can just go the Moody route. Shave his head. Get like a mustache or something on. We can make Tom Brady not look like Tom Brady.
That's such a good point, Moody. If Tom Brady is super good at disguises and stuff, there's a chance we don't even know about it.
Maybe he already is the star of every heist movie that we've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying.
There we go.
There's no way to disprove it.
He wasn't very good in Ted 2.
I have not seen Ted 2 yet, so I'm going to have to take your word for it.
Did he make a cameo in that something for Brady movie? I haven't seen it. The one with
80 for Brady?
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming he had to have made a cameo at least. Right?
I know he produced it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Dustin says, now I want to see Tom Brady with a mustache. Well, he's retired, so anything's possible now. That puts me back on the clock. And
mustache. I hope so bad. That's the direction of his fashion.
That's the next phase.
Yeah.
Just mustache, no beard or anything.
No clothes.
Nude with a mustache. 2024. Tom Brady. TB12. That's enough stalling around the Tom Brady pick. That means it's my turn, and this is my last pick, and I just feel like my team is missing someone who's going to be able to disable the security system from inside the control van, right? That hacker, the one who's going to be in the bank's computer system. And I don't know for sure that this guy knows how to hack into a mainframe computer, but the goggles that he wears tells me that he does. Rodrigo Blankenship is my final pick here, and he is hacking into the mainframe system. I gotta have Rodrigo Blankenship on every single team that I draft on this show. He's just such a versatile player. The goggles do so much, no matter what the scenario is. Welcome to the team, Rodrigo.
Speechless, Simon. Absolutely speechless.
Yeah,
who would you have hack into the mainframe?
I don't know. I guess Rodrigo Blankenship, now that you say it.
See, just makes sense.
All right, so I get to pick Mr. Irrelevant here.
Yeah, JL, you got the last pick of this draft.
See, Joey and Moody went. They both took people who would be the muscle role. But as I was thinking about it, like if you're good enough at a heist, you don't need any muscle. You just got to be graceful enough. So then I started thinking, who's the most graceful player in the NFL? Easy. Justin Tucker. He kicks stuff, sings opera, and he looks great in a suit. So Justin Tucker is going to be the last piece of this puzzle to complete my super high squad.
Oh my, JL, I'm imagining the epic scene at the end of your heist movie. And Justin Tucker is literally on stage at an event while your crew is pulling off the heist, like behind the scenes. He's singing opera, and as he hits the big note, the bank vault cracks open, outruns Lamar Jackson, followed by Tyreek Hill and George Kittle, and Jamal Williams looks at the camera. One last line before they get off.
Tyreek is in the
something
deuces.
About the fat lady singing, and then Justin Tucker jumps off the stage.
Sticks out his tongue.
Jamal Williams Naruto runs out of the bank.
Puts on his headband.
All right, well, guys, these are our teams. The final teams: Joey Wright drafted Brandon Cooks, Joe Burrow, Larry Fitzgerald, Micah Parsons, and Justin Jefferson.
Heck happened, Joey?
What do you mean?
Moody put together Ryan Fitzpatrick, DK Metcalf, Deion Sanders, Aaron Donald, and Tom Brady.
I got something. I'm on the roll today. Apparently, I was sitting there thinking we're talking about this, right? We should do like the movie trailer, like voiceover. God. Joey knows where I'm going here.
In a world
where it's like this. Here we go. In a world where trust is a rare commodity, where loyalty is put to the ultimate test, and where danger lurks around every corner. Prepare for a heart-pounding thrill ride that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Cue the trailer. There we go.
Boom.
Beautiful. Love it.
Explosion. Ryan Fitzpatrick enters the screen.
Deion Sanders as a movie narrator.
maybe Deion should do the trailer then. We'll have to have different cuts, right? Anyway, yeah. I'm done.
I'll call his people and see if he's down for it. I'm sure Deion Sanders would record a movie trailer for us if we asked him. For my team, I threw out Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, Taysom Hill, Baker Mayfield, and Rodrigo Blankenship. And JL had Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill, George Kittle, Jamal Williams, and Justin Tucker on his team. These are the teams. We're going to put these on Twitter for you guys to vote for your favorites. And one last thing that I had to let you guys know about as I was researching for this draft, apparently in 2021, 50 Cent was putting together a heist movie about NFL players that were free agents pulling off a heist against the owners of the team. There was an article that I read about it, and I got so excited, and I couldn't find any other information about it having been made. So I'm going to write an email to 50 Cent to see if we can get that movie made because it sounded sick.
That sounds awesome.
An NFL-themed heist movie produced by 50 Cent. Count me in, baby. Well, guys, that's going to be it for us today on the show. Moody, huge thanks for coming and drafting with us this NFL Movie Heist Squad. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's always great to come on. Hey, we always have fun, and it's good with a show like this because it's very laid back, free flowing. You can kind of have some fun with it. So I'll just echo what you said earlier, Simon. If you're on social media, follow me everywhere. It's at Eric N. Moody. You like the NFL, NBA, WNBA, fantasy, and sports betting? I'm your guy. I also love tweeting and talking about kind of 1990s, 2000s nostalgia. So you'll get some of those tweets in there as well. But yeah, check out all my fantasy content over at ESPN. Probably my next article that'll drop. I think it'll end up getting published tomorrow. It's on late round players to target in your draft. But I've got quarterback tiers up. I've got tight end tiers. I've got players who will benefit from, vacated targets, players that, benefit from great offensive line play. So I've got a lot of stuff over there. So check it out. And of course, if you have questions, just hit me up on Twitter. Very engaged with my following. There's a strong possibility I'll answer your question.
Moody is the man. Definitely a worthy follow here.
Truly. Scott Fish down here giving the endorsement as well, saying, I love Moody. And Scott
We all
saying,
do.
I will follow you, Eric. Follow you wherever you may go. There isn't an ocean too deep, a mountain so high, it can't keep me away.
Much
I must
appreciated,
follow you.
Scott. Love it.
Must.
Follow Scott Fish's lead on that front. Also, Geek stopping by with the Dear Mr. Sen, do I
Mr.
have a
Sen.
movie pitch for you?
Mr. Sen.
Yeah.
Oh God, I want to write a letter to Mr. Sen right now.
Scamper saying, thanks, guys. Always fun. And bye to Moody. That is going to be it for us today. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time for some more fantasy football game show fun. Watch our Twitter to vote for your favorite Heist Movie Squad team. Until tomorrow, though, we're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.